Hello, everybody. Good morning. It is the episode 12 today of our series, Help, I'm Stuck at Home. And today's series is called Extreme Feelings. So,
Mm.
this is Leanne Hunt. I'm Karen House. And we're talking today about a subject that I must be honest, I can't relate too much to because I have heard a little bit about um, issues of domestic violence, but really not much that is in my space that I'm hearing of. So,
Mm.
so perhaps, Leanne, you can tell us, what do you think of reports of domestic violence that you've been hearing?
Well, we have been hearing about them here in Johannesburg. Apparently, the various helplines have had a very big increase in numbers of people phoning in because they are stuck in houses with spouses that are losing their temper, becoming violent and abusive. And it really is a huge concern for those people who are on the helpline to try and to help these people without actually being able to reach them in any way, or even prevent, um, or even to change their circumstances by saying leave the house because you can't. So it's not that I want to actually speak so much on the social issue, because that is an entirely different topic, not relevant to this podcast, well, this video series. What I'm wanting to address particularly is the individual and how you might be experiencing extreme feelings yourself, because I do think it's pretty inevitable if you're stuck in a house
Yes.
for a determined period of time, or even an indeterminate period of time, that you'd start to feel confined and frustrated. But especially if you're with somebody else who is being more aggressive than usual, then it's extremely scary. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. We are losing a little bit of lag on your on your video, but your audio is fine, Lee. So let's just continue on this, and it is just the stage of lockdown that we're at. We do
Okay.
have unpredictability in our internet at this time. So I'm going to carry on to my
Certainly.
next question, which I think is really important because, as you say, from a personal perspective, when often it's unpredictable. I mean, I say I don't know of any, but actually, it is an unpredictable time at the moment. So how have you been, perhaps, uh, have you seen instances in your life when you have had extreme feelings and felt extreme feelings, Lee, in
Mm.
your position?
Yeah, not with the lockdown, but certainly several years ago, I had quite a a torrid time, actually.
Okay.
It was a time approaching Christmas. My domestic help was off, and of course, blindness made it difficult for me to get on with the housework. I began to feel really overwhelmed, and it just got to the point where I really felt like I was in a prison, and I just wanted to escape. And I was having thoughts going round and round in my head of how to escape. And it got to the point where actually it was pretty irrational, but it was very, very, I was incredibly agitated and restless. And so that the smallest thing was liable to set me off to do something pretty
Right, right.
rash. Fortunately, I called out for help and I was okay.
Yes. Oh, well, that's a very good tip. So I'm hoping you can expand on that. If you can
Mm.
tell us what tips you can give us for managing our extreme feelings at this time.
Yeah. Okay, so the one would definitely be, if you feel that you're about to crack, it would be definitely call for help, because it's so important to speak up about how you're feeling. And if you've got a good friend that you can be honest with, and you know that they'll take
Yeah.
care of you and help you out of the situation, that's important. Or alternatively, phone a doctor, a counselor, psychologist, a psychiatrist, or just a crisis helpline, somebody with whom you can express yourself and ask them for help. But for the normal sort of day-to-day situation, if you feel that you really are becoming very, very restless and agitated, and you can feel your emotions just going into overdrive, just be aware that this is one of the stages of loss that we do go through, that I spoke about at the beginning of the series.
Right.
That anger is normal, and so is the bargaining. And bargaining is where you're sort of trying to negotiate your way out of something. And so externally by having arguments, internal debates with yourself about should I, shouldn't I, shouldn't I, in terms of maybe just breaking out of the situation.
Lee, can
But
you
what is
just repeat
important,
that
there are two
last,
things.
just if you could repeat that last sentence? We lost you on that.
You're trying, and realize that it's not going to be successful because you are in lockdown and there is no way out of it. So that's the one thing. The other thing is to be like a prisoner in a prison. Instead of banging against the door, do something that can actually pass the time and just get you through this.
Right.
So I would recommend just very practical activities, sort of something like I'm just thinking of examples off the top of my head: knitting or threading
Yes.
beads or doing a jigsaw puzzle, walking in the garden, some deep
Yeah.
breathing, listening to soothing music, and just anything that will just keep you busy and pass the time, but keep you soothed and rested and calm. It's just
Yes.
really important to get past that hyped up stage. And we can do
Right.
it. We can do it because it's just about passing the time and getting past it.
Yes, that's great. I actually think it's a good idea to maybe have to know what makes you calm. I mean, for me, it's code
Mm.
breakers. It's also a puzzle.
Yes,
So if you
very
know
good.
that, then you know
Hmm.
that you can default to it if you're feeling those feelings. It's like when you're really, really
Yes.
stressed. Lee, we did have a bit of a break. So what I'm going to ask is perhaps
Mm.
when we do the text for the follow-up, we'll put more detail below the video of the tips
Oh,
that
okay.
Leanne mentioned. So when we
Hmm.
come through it, please have a look at the text as well if you're watching this
Yes.
video, in case that you've missed any of the content she's given you. Thank you so much, Lee.
Great.
That's fantastic today. And yes, that wraps up our extreme feelings segment, which is today's episode. And we'll be back tomorrow on day 13 of our lockdown with episode 13. Have a lovely day, everybody. Bye.
Thanks. Okay. Bye bye.